So my name is Jennifer Brennan and I work at the Irish Universities Association. My job is the national contact point for one of the Horizon 2020 EU R&D funding streams. And I'm here to talk to you today about the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions, which is one of the sort of more easy access routes to getting EU R&D funding. Okay. So, as I said, I'm from the Irish Universities Association. I'm running a small office there. We call ourselves the Irish Marie Skłodowska-Curie office. We have 3 staff members currently, myself, and I have a colleague who specialises in providing support to SFI-funded research centres, and we have a support colleague, Grace McCarthy. We really have 3 main functions, which is to promote the programme to researchers and research active organisations, to support research in preparing excellent funding applications and getting the money, and also contributing to various policy initiatives that are relevant to the actions as well. So can I just maybe poll the room? How many of you have heard of Horizon 2020 or are aware of Horizon 2020? Okay, so it's a good portion. So for the people who haven't, Horizon 2020 is the EU's main research and innovation funding programme. It began in 2014 and it will continue for 7 years until the end of 2020. It funds across 3 main areas: excellent science, industrial leadership, and then grand societal challenges. So Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions, which is obviously named after the famous Polish-born Nobel Prize-winning scientist, is in the excellent science pillar. And out of the €80 billion that Horizon 2020 has to spend, it's got about €6.2 billion of that. So it's a fairly significant part of the programme. We fund absolutely all research areas. So people may have heard about Horizon 2020 and having to find a core topic that suits you and moulding your research to fit with what the European Commission wants. In the case of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions, we actually are completely agnostic about the research areas. So we fund everything from arts to zoology and everything in between. We do that by implementing calls for proposals for different kinds of funding projects, and what I'm going to do over the next 10 minutes is just outline very briefly the different kinds of projects that we have on offer. From the EU's policy point of view, the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions is really strongly focused on researchers and their career development, their training and their mobility between different countries and between different sectors of the economy. And for those of you who are here from companies, that's where the sort of relevance comes in for you. So we have a big focus on intersectoral cooperation. In the predecessor to this programme, FP7, about 20% of the organisations that participated came from outside academia, and we are looking to drastically increase that in this round of funding, and they have sort of reoriented the programme to try and make it easier for companies to get involved. So when we talk about academia, we mean generally sort of higher education institutions, universities, institutes of technology, also public research organisations such as Chagaska, the Marine Institute. And then we talk about the non-academic sector, which includes industry of all size: spin-outs, SMEs, mid-caps, multinational companies, whatever, you're all very welcome. And civil society organisations, voluntary sector, government public sector, other organisations are also free to participate as well. The calls that we have really broadly range across 3 areas, and they're 3 very different kinds of programmes with different objectives. We have the individual fellowships call, we have the RISE Research and Innovation Staff Exchange, and we have the ITN Innovative Training Networks programme as well. So I'm going to go briefly through the 3 of these to try and give you a flavour of what it's about. The individual fellowships call is it's a personal fellowship for a researcher to develop their career within a particular host organisation. It supports researchers moving within Europe or into Europe, so the researchers who apply can come from any country in the world. It's open to people who have got a PhD or who have 4 years of research experience. So typically your applicant for this would be somebody who would be considered to be postdoctoral, possibly 2 to 3 years after their PhD, or possibly more senior. We're not ageist in any way. We don't have any maximum limits in this particular programme. The fellowships last for anything between 1 and 2 years, and there's an opportunity if you wish to collaborate, say if you're going to work in a university, if you wish to collaborate with local industry, you can do so, or if your fellowship would be based in industry, you can collaborate with the local university or institute of technology as well. And this programme has been running for about 20 years now. Predominantly the people choose to go to academic organisations, just traditionally. So in order to encourage both companies to look at hiring researchers and to make that easy for them, and also for researchers to look outside of academia for job opportunities. We have this new program which is running for 2 years, beginning this year. It's supporting a researcher to work outside academia, primarily in research active companies, for between 1 and 2 years. The fellowships are fully funded, so the researchers paid a very good salary. Their employer salary costs such as PRSI and pension contribution are covered as well. And you get research costs of about €10,000 a year, and then about €7,000 for management and overheads, which you can sort of use in your company. They've put aside about €10 million a year for this programme, and it'll probably fund about 100 fellowships, so 50 fellowships per year in this one. And how it works essentially is, as an organisation, you need to find a researcher who would be interested in working with you, and there are various ways of advertising for that, and you can have a chat with me about that afterwards. My colleague Magda Visaka from Euraxis Ireland is here today at stand 49, and she can also sort of give you some suggestions as to how you could use her services to attract a researcher. What I'm doing here. Okay, our next option then is the RISE programme, which is different again. So RISE is Research and Innovation Staff Exchange, and this really is about promoting transfer of knowledge between different countries and between different sectors of the economy. So how this programme works, it's a consortium type project, so it's at least 3 organisations from 3 different countries and from 3 different sectors. So it could be, say, 2 companies, say one from Northern Ireland and one from the Republic of Ireland, plus a university in France would be a perfectly eligible consortium for this particular kind of programme. And what you do really is you... Okay. If I stand further back, is that better? Not so close? Okay. What you're doing there is you are planning a research project with these organisations, and in order to execute this, you essentially swap your staff. So you send your research active staff into the university or into the public research organisation for a short period of time, and then vice versa, the people from the university can come and spend time in your company as well, working with you on the project. They can come for any duration between a month and a year. The programme pays their travel costs to come over, and it pays for the costs of organising meetings between the consortium, and so there are some costs for research and for travel as well. These projects typically last for between 2 and 4 years, although you can look for a shorter project if you wish. The final option I'm going to talk about today is the ITN programme, which is Innovative Training Networks, and this is essentially, it's really a research training programme, typically training researchers up to PhD level in a particular niche research area. So it's a consortium typically of between 6 and 10 organisations, again from different countries and from different sectors. They're offering a research training programme to either people who want to get a master's degree or a PhD degree, and you would get enough funding for about 15 students who, as illustrated by the little graphic, would be spread out among that network to carry out their research training. This programme lasts for up to 4 years, and again all the costs of the researcher's salary, research costs, consumables, travel costs, overheads, etc. are paid from the programme as well. The typical budget for this kind of a programme is anything up to about €4.5 million, and a company could expect, depending on their level of participation, to get maybe about 100,000 per year out of this programme. So overall in the programme you really have 2 levels of involvement depending on your capacity to engage. So you can go in as what's called a partner organisation, and generally in that you don't typically tend to get any allocated budget from the programme. However, you can claim back your costs of participation from it. So the responsibilities really for you there would be, if you were to get involved in the ITN programme, you could offer to host one of the students who's getting their research training maybe at a university, and for a short period of time in your company for them to sort of learn about what you do, or for you to learn from them about their research area. Then we have the opportunity in the individual fellowships programme, again to host a researcher who's on a short secondment from a university or institute of technology, and again that's about knowledge transfer. It's about you learning from them and then learning from you. The big one, which is where you start to kind of get the money and the income stream, is what's called a beneficiary. And if you were to get involved in the individual fellowships programme, you would host a researcher for the entire duration of their fellowship in the Society and Enterprise panel, as I mentioned earlier. We also have then in the Research and Innovation Staff Exchange Programme, you would have the opportunity to send your staff into academia for short periods and then have researchers come to you for short periods from academic organisations. And in ITM really, which is the strongest level of responsibility, you would take on the responsibility of hosting a researcher for the entire duration of their programme, be it to Masters or to PhD level, and that would be fully funded. Good question is, what's the co-funding requirement? And the answer is absolutely none. So these programmes are 100% funded by the European Commission, and there's no cash contribution. There are some informal in-kind contributions that you would need to make in this programme in terms of your staff time, in terms of access to your facilities, for example. These are examples of just some of the companies that have been funded through this programme so far. They range from very small spin-out companies such as Oncomark, small companies like Alimentary Health, Insilico is a spin-out, right up to Bell Labs, excuse me, Bell Labs Ireland, which is part of Alcatel-Lucent, and Intel, Microsoft, IBM have also been funded in this programme as well. So there's a range of opportunities for a range of different companies of different sizes. If you are interested in getting involved in these programmes, myself and my colleagues are here to support you. So if you'd just like to be kept up to date with what's going on in the programme, we have various information sources. We have an email distribution list, dedicated website, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we are on Twitter as well, so plenty of ways to keep in touch with us. If you are thinking about putting in an application, or you just are here today, you're not sure whether it's for you, please get in touch with us and we can sort of give you some advice as to whether what you're thinking about would fit in, and if it doesn't, we can signpost you to other alternative opportunities within the EU funding programme or within national funding programmes as well. We have connections with the national funding agencies too. We can help you to find partners for your consortium. We can provide training in writing a good proposal and putting together a good bid for the funding. And we also, one of our final things, if you were interested in the society and enterprise part, the fellowship, having a researcher work with you for 2 years, we do actually do a workshop where we hand-hold you through the entire process of putting together the application. And that's all from me, so I'm happy to take any questions, or I'll be around for the day if you would like to hear a little bit more. Thank you.